Hello everyone! Today we are going to be making chicken or turkey and vegetable egg rolls. This is going to be a 2-day lab, so I'm going to do it in day 1 and day 2. Day 1 we're going to have mise en place, and day 2 you are going to be cooking, assembling, and tasting. To start for day 1, you're going to need 3 portion cups with lids and a quart size bag and gallon size bag. For tools and utensils on day 1, you will need a damp towel with a cutting board, a chef's knife, a 1 cup dry measuring cup, as well as a 1/4 cup dry measuring cup, and you will need a 1 tablespoon, see how it has a big T, measuring spoon.
For mise en place, for your quart size bag, you are going to shred 1 cup of cabbage, you are going to shred 1/4 cup of carrot, and you are going to slice 2 green onions on a bias.
So we'll start with our cabbage, and when it says shred, you basically just want to slice it into thin strips. Like this, we might even need to chop it up a little bit more. This is all going to get rolled up into egg roll wrappers. So we might want to run our knife through this one more time. All right, so once I have my cabbage all chopped up, I will put it in the bag. All right, I have my 1 cup of cabbage. I need 1/4 cup of shredded carrot. So I'm going to put that in the bag as well. And then the very last thing I have is 2 green onions sliced on a bias. First, you can take the tops off of these to make them even. So if your green onions look like this, you want to put your knife like this so that they chop at a nice angle, and it just makes them look prettier. So once you have your 2 green onions chopped up, you can put those in the bag as well. You don't want this part of the green onion, but you can chop up everything until there. Try to get all the air out that you can, and then spread it out in 1 layer until it looks flat like this. And there's bag 1. The next thing you're going to do for day 1 mise en place is get your garlic and ginger ready in your portion cup. So I have 4 cloves of garlic that I am going to mince, which means to chop into very small pieces. So you want to crush the garlic just like we learned in our knife skills lesson first, and that will help peel it way easier. You definitely want to throw away all of the excess peels. I guess you would call that the root. So that's what it looks like. That's what your garlic will look like when it is prepared correctly. So we'll go through all those. I had some skin left there. Get rid of that. And there we go. And now since we already crushed our garlic, we can run our knives along it, each piece. Again, being very careful of your fingertips. And then once you've sliced through them once, you can rock your knife back and forth through them until they are very finely minced. This is what your garlic will look like when it's minced. And then you will put it right in the container along with the ginger that you will measure out. Now we have ginger that is a stir-in paste, or you can grate your own ginger in class, but I'm still going to use 1 tablespoon of the stir-in ginger paste. close it up. And now you have your garlic and ginger measured out. The last thing that we're gonna do for mise en place on day 1 is measure out 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil and make sure that when you label your lid, it has a V on it. So we have 1 tablespoon and 2 tablespoons. Make sure your lid is on super tight. And then you're going to do the same thing for the sesame oil. We have 1 tablespoon here and another tablespoon. This one is going to be labeled with an S. And then that is all we have for day 1. So to recap, when you are completely done, you will have a gallon Ziploc bag with all these things in it. Once you're done there, you will make sure that you keep it flat, and we are done with our mise en place for day 1. For day 2, you will need everything that was in your large Ziploc bag from day 1, along with 1/2 pound of either ground chicken or ground turkey. You'll need some soy sauce, black pepper, and kosher salt so you can season to your own taste buds. You'll also need a rubber scraper and a pastry brush. You'll need oven mitts, your drying towel, and your small towel for washing. You will need a small portion cup full of water. That's going to be to seal your egg roll wrappers. And then you will also need a pan with sides that's lined with parchment paper so nothing sticks.
You'll need a saute pan.
First thing you need to do for day 2 is preheat your oven to 400 degrees. After you've preheated your oven, go ahead and line your baking sheet with parchment paper so that our egg rolls don't stick when they're baking. After I've preheated my oven, we're gonna get to making the filling. So I am going to turn on my burner on medium, between a 3 and a 4. And then I'm going to add my sesame oil with the S on it. Clean as you go, so you can throw this away. And you are going to let that heat up a little bit in the pan. You'll be able to see when it's hot enough. It should have some ripples in the oil. It will be fragrant. I've started to smell my oil a little bit. It's also going to move around the pan a little bit faster than when you pour in the oil. And I can see now that we have some ripples and it's moving around pretty fast. So that means my pan's got to be pretty hot. At this point, you'll want to put in your chicken and make sure that you have your rubber scraper handy. And you should start to hear it sizzle. Clean as you go. Put that right in your dirty dishes. You're going to want to break up the chicken so that it cooks faster. And just move it around the pan a little bit. This has been cooking for only about 2 minutes, and as you can see, there's still pink on the chicken, but it is starting to cook just a little bit. Chicken is considered finished when it reaches an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. The only way to be completely sure that you have cooked your chicken properly is to take the temperature of it. While this is cooking, you really want to break it up small because, again, it is going to be going into egg roll wrappers. All right, at this point, all of the pink is gone from my ground chicken. And I'm going to start seasoning it. So I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce. You always want to season as you go. And then I'm going to add a little black pepper. Since soy sauce is very salty, I'm not going to add any more salt yet, but we might need some when you add the vegetables. All right, so I put some soy sauce and some black pepper on there. We have that sesame oil that's gonna give it some good flavor. And then you are going to want to cook this mixture now. It's called au sec. A-U-S-E-C. It's 2 words in French, and it means almost dry. So this is what it will look like when you are ready to move on to the next step. At this point, we're gonna turn it down just a little. I hit it at about a 4. I'm gonna turn it down to a 3 and add the garlic and ginger to it. Clean as you go, you can throw this away. And then you are going to stir that around until the garlic and ginger become aromatic, until you can smell them. You don't want to keep them on too long because we are going to cook the vegetables, and you never want to burn your garlic or else it kind of ruins the flavor of the whole dish. All right, so just a couple seconds with those. Then we are going to turn it up once more, and we are going to stir fry your bag of vegetables. So stir fry is cooking in a small amount of fat over high heat, and that is exactly what we are doing right here. I'm gonna add a little bit more soy sauce. I'm gonna add some more pepper. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of kosher salt.
If you like spicy stuff, you can add sriracha or red pepper flakes.
And you will stir fry that for only about 2 to 3 minutes. Once that's done, give it a taste. This is what it should look like at this point.
Remember, you always want to start with less seasoning than you need because you can always add more, but you can't take it away.
A little hint is if it needs a little bit of sweetness or you accidentally put too much salt in there, you want to balance out that salty flavor by adding a sweet flavor. So I added a little bit of brown sugar to this mixture because I added a little too much salt. Oh, that's good. Once your filling is all the way done, it should look like this. And now we're ready to wrap and roll. You'll make sure this cools on a burner that you weren't using while you prepare your wrappers. Here is how you are going to use the egg roll wrappers in order to make these egg rolls. First, you're going to make sure that you only have 1 wrapper per roll. They're super thin. You'll peel one off and you will put it like a diamond. Then you are going to use about this much filling. It's about 2 heaping tablespoons. That's what it will look like. You will then take the bottom of your egg roll wrapper, put it up like this, fold the sides in. Right in this triangle, you will dip your finger in a little bit of water, and that's going to help seal these up. So, see how that just kind of glued? About this much filling, one more time. And then we will fold that over. It's okay if a couple pieces fall out. You can just add them to a different one. You will fold this like an envelope. Make sure you use your water as glue. And then you will roll this up. You're gonna wanna make sure that it is seam side down. So wherever you use the water as the glue, that's what you're gonna put down on your parchment paper. Before putting these in the oven, we are going to use our pastry brush and then our vegetable oil that was labeled with a V to brush the oil on top of these and on the sides so they can crisp up in the oven. When you have brushed oil on all of them, you can go ahead and put them in your oven. They should look shiny like this. There should be about 8 to 10 when you're all finished. Pop them in your 400-degree oven in the center of the rack like so. When they've been baking for about 15 minutes, they're going to look like this. They are nice and golden. Make sure you very carefully take them out of the oven. We'll set them up there to let them cool for about 3 minutes, and then you can slice them and serve them up.